Whoa, buddy. Hold on to your britches because we got a really crazy piece of gear we're going to be talking about here today. Oh man, this is such a fantastic amplifier, and if you've ever had a chance to play through an original one, they are absolutely magical. So this is a vintage Vox AC30 top boost reverb. All right. Now, this particular amplifier is a little bit of an enigma. It's a very low serial number unit. I don't know if it's quite in the Rose Morris era. It probably is. If it is, it's very early. So the date on this amp, anywhere from what I can find, as early as 72 to as late as about maybe 76 or 77 in that ballpark. It's one of the last point-to-point wired Voxes that was ever offered. And this thing is coming through loud and clear and singing quite well. And we've got her cranked up real good here. Those sounds I was getting in the intro are just from a Telecaster right into the front there. I am getting a splash of reverb from a Strymon Flint and just a little bit of slapback from a Deluxe Memory Man. These amplifiers are absolutely magical, and they can get into some wonderful territory. Now this particular model is a tremolo and reverb model. It differs in a lot of different ways from some of the earlier ones. We will go through some of the details as we go. I want you to hear this germanium overdrive. All right, so this is a Hudson Electronics sidecar germanium clipping overdrive into the front of a cranked AC30. Yes, sir. All right, let's give this a listen. You guys ready for this? All right, and we'll dive into some sounds. All right. All right, so the way I've got this thing set up, I am jumping the Brilliant and normal channels with patch cable. I will have to lower the volume and swap some of the cords around so we can hear the reverb side. I do have the original foot switch for this amplifier. You can change the reverb and vibrato on and off with the switch. So what I'll do is I'll disengage the Strymon. I'm going to leave just a little bit of that glorious slap back in there. I'll let you hear the amplifier dry before we change anything, and we'll go through and listen to the onboard reverb and tremolo sounds, which are amazing, if I must say. It will take us a moment to chase some sounds. I hope you'll be patient with us. All right, here's the dry sound of the amp with just a little bit of slap back from the Memory Man. Yes, sir. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put this thing in the reverb mode. Man, she is a singing, son, a singing. All right, I'm just gonna, it doesn't have a standby switch or anything. I'm gonna go to the Brilliant, or top end. Now this is just the reverb and vibrato side. I'm gonna bring some of the reverb in. All right, we're gonna crank it up the same level the other channels were. All right, got our tone stack, our cut, bass and treble. Bass and treble, self-explanatory. These are the volumes for each channel. All right, and the way that this cut works is the lower it is, it gets this sort of bassy sound, and as you increase this, it brings in a little bit more of the brilliance of the overall tone stack. So it's weird because you would think like a tone pot, it kind of is, but it sort of it's kind of like presence, but it brings in a little bit of the high-end articulation in and out. And you can get a really jangly sound or a dark sound depending on the voice of the guitar that you are using. All right, so, all right, this should be the vibrato off, I believe. And we should have a bit of reverb coming from the amp itself. All right, that's the on-board reverb. And we do have some vibrato. Very spacey on the reverb. I'm going to back off on the reverb, and we're going to go to the next vibrato setting. So it just says vibrato, speed, and trim, and it doesn't really give you like an option to change those parameters. So each sound is just sort of a different type of thing. So let's give this one a listen. Go through the trim sounds here. Very, very, very pretty sounding. And remember, we're just straight into the amp. There's really no supplemental thing other than just a slapback of delay. All the reverbs and vibrato you're hearing is from the amp. I'll let a few chords ring and we'll change the setting again, all right? Voxes are known for their really pretty, sparkly top end with a lot of articulation. All right, now this sounds like kind of a slow trim sound. Notice the audible pop. I'm going to increase that reverb just a scotch. The reverb is kind of like all off or all on, doesn't really have a lot of range on the knob. Most people running these amps probably aren't even going to use the vibrato or reverb maybe, but man, really cool. All right, let's give this kind of a Doppler sounding sort of vibrato here. Let's give it a listen. All right. There is nothing like a cranked AC30. All right, so you got 4 sounds on tap, but there's no adjustability to those sounds at all. It's just a pot, and you just switch between 4 sounds. All right, here's our final sound. I'll leave the reverb where it's at. Maybe a little more, I lied. All right, wow. Woo! Okay, here's the last reverb, or the tremolo sound. Man, pure tone heaven. All right, I'm going to switch the amp back to the way we had it before, and we'll chase maybe another overdrive sound. All right, I'm just going to break that all the way down, bring this down. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it seems that there's a 5th setting. Maybe this is off or whatever. Let's listen to this sound. So apparently there was another click over to the far left. Let me make sure that's something we didn't miss. Okay, it is another vibrato sound. Let's give that one a quick listen and then I'll swap back over. All right, so you can see some varying degrees of tremolo with not a lot of adjustment. And that's okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just get back into the normal. She's old and ornery, so a little bit of crackle there, it's okay. All right, we're gonna bring our sound back up and we'll chase just a couple of quick sounds. What a fantastic amp. I wanted to share this just as a showcase. Early Rose Morris, if not maybe even the Dallas Arbiter type of territory. The badge on this does give that away a bit. Also the 6 vents on top of the amplifier. The older Voxes use 3, this one uses 6 for a little bit better cooling. You can feel a lot of heat coming out of the top of that amp. The speakers are Celestion Rolla 25 watt speakers that I don't know if they're the original speakers. They do look to be about the same era, but I'm going to leave that up to you guys to decide. Also, I want to note the serial number on this unit is like 4 digits. I have seen the serial number ranges on these amps get up into the 8 digits. So apparently they made a lot of them, or maybe the serial number range is slightly different depending on the models. The thing about vintage Vox amps is it can be a little difficult sometimes to determine exactly which amp you have, because they went through so many different changes with ownership and with the SKUs and models, and they had so many different SKUs, like some were solid state, some were tube, some were export only, some were UK only, some were made for like specific outlets and stores and things. So there's so many little different variants with these amps. Generally, I think that if you can get yourself a point-to-point wired Vox AC30 and a good worthy Fender amp, I think you've probably got the only 2 amps you're ever going to need. For rootsy, clean stuff like what I'm playing and getting into some of the rootsy stuff, it definitely puts you in that territory, and this amp is magical. They sound great with Stratocasters. Rory Gallagher was a famous user of the Vox AC30 with Strat. We probably will be playing through this with a Strat in a future video. In fact, the next video we're about to make, we will. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to make a little bit more noise, let you get back to your day. Thank you for watching. This has been a 72 to 77, maybe Rose Morris era Vox AC30 top boost, or a top boost 30 AC30 with reverb and tremolo. Beautiful, beautiful amp. One of the last point-to-point wired Vox amps, and definitely a token of an unfortunately bygone era. I can't really speak to the newer Voxes, but this one is on point. All right, guys, have a great day. We tune in every Friday here on Guitarsenal for a new video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share with your buddies if you dare, and we'll let you guys get back to your day. All right, this time we're going to hit it with a green Rhino from Way Huge. All right, this is nice Overdrive. Think you're going to like it. Have a great day. See you next time. All right, here we go.